So, if my child is arrested, what are they entitled to whilst they're in custody? Will they be given a meal? Will they be given a bed to sleep in? If they have dietary requirements, or if there's sort of religious aspects and they need to pray at certain times, will they be given what they need? Medication as well is one that came up.
Yeah, absolutely. That's an important one. Medication comes up quite a lot. So there is a nurse. There will be a nurse that can speak to them. So ensure it, either hopefully your child themselves can say it. If not, if you're worried, you can call the police station or you can turn up at the police station and explain to them, I've got some concerns. My child has to have certain medication. You can bring the medication. If they have like a specific medication that might not be widely available, you can bring it to the police station. Sometimes they can be difficult about accepting it because, of course, they don't know what you're actually bringing in.
Mm.
But I've had it lots of times where I've had parents that bring along medication and that, they check it over and then they're happy to accept it. But the nurse has to check and they will look at like records. Is this actually prescribed and things like that? So yeah, medication, absolutely. Dietary requirements, all of that stuff that should be accommodated and they should be told about it. They can ask for whatever they need. If they have a good solicitor, then hopefully when they turn up, I always check in well-being. Have they eaten? What have they had? Lots of people don't actually just want to eat, but if you don't want to eat the actual hot food because it's not very nice, then you can ask for biscuits. They often have like biscuits available, or some kind of like snack bars, that sort of thing. Tea, coffee, water, squash, those sorts of things in terms of drinks. You can ask for all of that. You are supposed to be cared for in the police station. All of those things should be facilitated. You should, if you want food, you are entitled to it. Absolutely. They can have a look at what's known as the codes of practice. So there's like the PACE rules about what the police can or can't do. They're allowed to have a copy of that and read that in their cell if they want to. So yeah, normally they'll be put in what's known as a cell, which is kind of what it says on the tin and what you'd imagine. But if they have certain issues, sometimes people struggle with mental health or things like that. I have often called up, even if they're an adult, and I've said, look, my client, or maybe I've spoken to them and they say, look, I'm really worried, I'm feeling like this, I'm feeling like that. I've called the police station, I've said, my client's having suicidal thoughts or things like that. Can we have their cell door open for a little bit? They'll have to have an officer with them, kind of watching them.
Mhm.
But there are different things that can be accommodated, even fresh air sometimes, these things can be accommodated. So if your child has particular issues or, claustrophobia or different things, it just needs to be communicated and we can ask for it. So,
Yeah, yeah, and a lot of questions that I have been asked actually tends to be around if my child is autistic and they have sensory issues and they need a certain item of clothing or a certain, specific safe food for them. Can I actually bring that in? Could I bring in a weighted blanket, for example, or a fidget toy? Or if they'll eat a certain a McDonald's Happy Meal. Can I bring that in
yeah.
for them?
So it really depends on the police station, because one of the sergeants will decide ultimately what's going on. So sometimes, yeah, I've had it where I had a mum was able, well, she was an auntie actually, she was able to go and get a McDonald's for her boy, and they let it in. That is, I must say, that is a bit more rare. They're not that keen. Or if they are allowing food in, they'll allow like sealed food. So,
Mhm.
not something in like a tin foil. It would need to be like a crisp packet that's like closed or sealed, just so that they
Yeah,
can see effectively it's not been tampered with, or there's not something hidden, a weapon or something hidden within
yeah,
what you've given. So I always just say you don't ask, you don't get. always ask and explain to the police. If you've got any evidence of them like having autism, unfortunately sometimes they're very difficult, you can, like, if you've got a doctor's letter or something that you might want to show them, to show, yeah, you know, we've got these issues and this is important for them. And that's why it's, again, really important to have a solicitor, because they might not listen to mum, but they might be, if you've got a solicitor on the phone, then they might start to take you a little bit more seriously.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely ask. You're not guaranteed to get it in because of, you know, obvious reasons.
Yeah.
They have suspicions that you could be bringing certain things into the police station, particularly there's been like an officer that was shot in Croydon court custody and things like that. So Croydon police station, sorry. So they are a lot more, and particularly with appropriate adults, so like mum, dad, carer, auntie, whoever it is, they've started to be a bit more difficult with people coming into the police stations,
Yeah.
bringing things in. So, but it's always worth an ask.